What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video. So, ever since Black Ops 7 released the beta, one mode that I've kept coming back to over and over again is survival. Because I'm not gonna lie, there are some times where I just want to get in and I just want to shoot zombies and level up my weapons without having to deal with a bunch of bullshit in the map. It is such a casual, laid-back experience that anybody can just hop in and play. It's also a great experience for camo grinding and leveling up your gun. It's just overall a great experience in my opinion. So today I wanted to talk about survival maps in Black Ops 7 Zombies and why I think they work in this game and why I think survival maps should be a staple in each game moving forward. Now, the reason why survival maps were added in Black Ops 2 was not because of grinding, but because transit was a little bit too complicated for the average zombie player to get in and play. This map is literally what started the whole trend of having long and tedious quests literally just to get to Pack-a-Punch. It also doesn't help that transit is just not a very great designed map and people just did not want to play transit at the time. And I think the developers kind of realized that while they were developing transit, which is why they decided to take portions of it and make it into survival maps. It was a great idea, but the problem with survival in Black Ops 2 is it just did not get enough support in my opinion. Like, in my personal opinion, they just did not add enough survival maps to keep people wanting to play survival in this game. And even though the survival maps in this game do some things that play different from each other, let's be honest, what are the chances you went back and played Farm and Bus Depot over Town? Because Bus Depot had nothing but a mystery box. Farm is just Bus Depot with perks. Like, Town was the main one you were picking because it was the one that had Pack-a-Punch and everything on it. Like, Black Ops 2 desperately needed more survival maps to fully flesh out this side mode. Now, the reason I brought up Black Ops 2 survival is I think it's important for people to understand the point of why survival maps were added in the first place. Survival maps, in my opinion, were added to keep that core survival experience that people were expecting from zombies at the time. Because Black Ops 2 Zombies, in my opinion, was such a jarring experience for veteran players who have been playing World at War and BO1. They started adding more and more features into the map that slowly started to strip away that survival aspect. Like, it's honestly kind of disappointing that they didn't go harder on survival maps in Black Ops 2. I'm honestly also really surprised that they did not end up adding survival in any games afterwards, considering that most of the maps would get more and more complicated after Black Ops 2. Especially in a game like Black Ops 4, where almost every single map you literally need a PhD in order to know how to unlock Pack-a-Punch. Survival maps would have worked really well in that game. But finally, almost 14 years later, we finally got survival maps back in Black Ops 7. Now, I do see some people in the community complain about the fact that the survival maps in BO7 don't really do enough to differentiate themselves gameplay-wise, and I totally understand that point. But at the same time, I really just don't think that was the whole point of survival maps in the first place. Survival maps, in my opinion, are meant for those casual players that just want to hop in and shoot zombies and don't want to have to worry about setting up on the map. And while I do acknowledge that a lot of people play survival mostly for camo grinding, I don't think that's a bad thing. Because it also means Treyarch doesn't have to take up a map slot for just a small survival map for people to want a camo grind. I also think it's a great way for players to get their hands on the map's wonder weapon without having to go in and do the whole entire quest for it. Not only that, but every single wonder weapon in this game so far can also be Pack-a-Punch, meaning you can experience the wonder weapon in its full potential without actually having to go into the map and do the process of building. I also love the approach they're taking for survival this time around, as they're smaller areas from the main maps, but you have all of the upgrades and everything there at your disposal. People usually want to hate on them reusing assets in zombies, but I think this is honestly fantastic because it allows players players to get a taste of what it feels like to experience the main maps while also having all of the tools from the main maps at your disposal. A lot of the survival maps do play the same for the most part, but there are a couple of exceptions. Mars Survival, hands down, in my opinion, is the best survival map in this game, because not only does it do some unique things compared to the other survival maps, but it also takes an area that a lot of people may not have experienced from Astra Malorum and makes it its own little small map, which I'm honestly glad they made Mars a survival map, because this area is so damn cool, and it would have been disappointing if they didn't do anything else with this area. But they did, and I'm proud to say it makes it for an incredible experience. For me, the best thing about Mars Survival is the anti-gravity, because it makes the map super duper fun, and you can pull off some really cool plays by jumping back and forth between each wall. Not only that, but it also makes for some really funny moments with Uber Cloud, which that's really my only gripe with this map, is the fact that the boss zombies spawn a little bit too much. Don't get me wrong, Uber Klaus isn't too bad on this map, but as soon as you have 3 at a time spawn in on the map, it can get a little bit too much. They also added a cool little music Easter egg where if you aim at the statue head for a few seconds, it'll start playing the Easter egg song from Shangri-La. I think this is a really nice touch, and I think they should have added to all of the survival maps, to be honest. Nuked Survival is also another map that does a couple of unique things. Like, it's one of the only survival maps in this game that has perk machines on. The only issue I inherently have with this is the fact that I kind of wish they were random like they are on Paradox Junction, because I feel like it would switch up the gameplay a little bit more match to match, even though you have the Wonder Fizz in the map anyway. Either way, it doesn't really change the gameplay all that much, but it is a nice little neat thing for them to keep in there. Also, I think I suggested it in my Season 4 video, but they finally put the Sundergat in the box in this map. It honestly makes this map a lot more playable and a lot more fun, but my point still stands, is I still think this survival map was kind of pointless. Like, it would have been nice if they at least kept the free ether tool that you can get from the spores. I don't know, this is like the one survival map I will agree kind of doesn't make any sense, considering I would rather just play Paradox Junction where I can do the free ether tool Easter egg and stuff like that. In my opinion, what they should have done with this survival map is made an experience more akin to the original Nuketown from Black Ops 2. Like, they literally could have just cut off Trinity Avenue and made the perk spawns just random, because in my opinion, this would have been the perfect time to do that, and it would have made for a fun experience. Now, as much as I like Ashes of the Damned, I'm kind of glad Ashwood was the final survival map we're getting from it, because most of the survival experience is locations from Ashes of the Damned, which does get a little bit repetitive sometimes. And that's why I feel like some people feel like these survival maps feel like they played the same, because they're generally from the same map right now. In my opinion, what they should have done is they should have launched the game with all of the Ashes of the Damned survival maps. That way, during the DLC season, it would have given them more of a chance to release the other survival maps. Like, I love Ashes of the Damned, don't get me wrong, but I would also love to see survival maps from every single map in the game. But either way, there's still a huge variety of survival maps in this game, and we still have 2 seasons left, so I'm curious to see what they're gonna do. I know it was leaked that the lighthouse from Totenreich is going to be a survival map, along with the castle from Kawakajo. I'm honestly not sure if we're gonna get one based off of the final map. I hope we do. But at the same time, we already have so many survival maps, and you don't want it to be overkill. My only hope for the rest of the survival maps is I hope they add some unique stuff to differentiate them from the rest of the survival map. Now, as far as bosses go on these maps, most of the enemies are reused, which honestly, I don't find that to be a bad thing whatsoever. I think I even said it before this game came out, but I don't mind reused enemies in the survival maps as long as they stay in the survival maps only and they don't take over the main map. And they honestly did pretty well of not reusing enemies on the main main maps except for Paradox Junction. Like, if Treyarch wants to reuse enemies, the survival maps are honestly the perfect place to do that, because it just gives them more of a chance to add newer enemies to the main map. They also added Cursed Survival to the game due to the community asking for it, and I think it's pretty good here, honestly. It's great because you can use the relics you collected to switch up the gameplay. Not only that, but if you're playing in a public match and someone else has their relics active, it will make for a very interesting experience. The only issue I really have with Cursed Survival and Cursed Mode in general is the fact that the PAT prices are so ridiculously expensive. It's crazy. Like, if you thought inflation wasn't hitting you enough in real life, you got it in COD Zombies as well. And that's really my biggest criticism with Cursed, which eventually I'm probably going to make a video on Cursed eventually, but one of my biggest criticisms is the PAT prices, in my opinion. Like, I get that they want Cursed to be a more hardcore and challenging mode, but I just feel like it's a little bit tedious just having to spend so many points on things. Other than that, though, I think Cursed Survival has honestly been pretty fun, especially with some of the relics people have been using. Some games end up being super crazy. But either way, personally, I have been enjoying survival in this game, and I can't wait to see what Treyarch does with the final 2 maps. My only hope is that they do something unique and different to differentiate them from the rest of the survival maps in the game. They're not anything super crazy, and I don't even think that they're trying to be. But I want to know what you guys think of survival maps in this game. Do you think Black Ops 7 survival is a W, or do you think survival is pointless in this game? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyway, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. All right, see ya.